community wants to live in a more safe world and a more more with people that knows what is our suffering, what have we been going through. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in this motion, the South as first generation immigrant parent of color in predominantly white country will choose to live and raise children in an ethnic enslaved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in this debate, I will give out to you three arguments. First one is that this will create a better surroundings for the children. Two, why is it better for the why this will the children will give back to the community. And three, the presence will be greater in our side of emotion. So to my first argument that this will create a better surroundings for the children of people of color to grow up rather than growing up in a more white community. Ladies and gentlemen, when children of first generation POC grow up in a white predominantly country, what will happen is that they will surely get racism or social rejection from the very first start. They will get mocked on, get bullied in school, in public school, or perhaps in their playground for just having a different skin color than many of the white people. Now, even if they grew up in a more homogeneous community, they will still be in contact with many other communities in outside surroundings. For example, at public school, at hospital, and so on and so forth. Now, after getting bullied by the other community, this will surely make the children feel upset, feel depressed because they get injustices from their surroundings. They will ask to themselves, "Oh, why are people so hateful of me just because I have a different skin color? Oh, are people really that bad?" Now, what makes our side of the motion greater than the other side of the motion is that we will be able to protect those children more from feeling down 24/7 because the children will eventually grow up in a homogeneous community that can actually support and make strong of their feelings. Now, what we mean is that those people in the same community of the children knows the feeling of getting bullied, knows the feeling of getting discriminated because they have received the same things, the same treatment as they were. They know how it feels to be mocked on just because you are having a different skin colors. Now, these people around the children will be a better impact, better at giving supports because they felt the same way as those children because they know they get injustices which those children are receiving. Now, they will be able to comfort them by saying, "Oh, don't put attention to those who hate you because in the end of the day, what matters is that you will always have us, your communities, who will support you and support each other no matter what," thus making the children feel loved and supported. Because the children will always know, because the children knows that these people receive the same treatment as them, and they know that these children can always ask them for help, for advices like, "Oh, how should we treat them? Oh, how should we take care of them?" and so on and so forth. But ladies and gentlemen, what would happen in the result of the motion is that these children will live in a predominantly white people in a community, thus they will less likely to find many people to have empathy at them for getting bullied because they are living with their because in the end of the day they are living with their bullies. They are living with the same kind of people who are bullying them in the school or in the other public places. Now, those white people wouldn't be able to give out support to those POC children which the children needed because those white people have never experienced growing up in the same value and the same surroundings of POC children because of their privileges. Those white people wouldn't understand how it feels to be bullied just because of your skin color. This is crucial because as children, you wish to grow up in a community that actually supports you and loves you, even though you will find problem in life. But at least you know there will always be people with the same value behind your back to push your way throughout the daily life. Because in the end of the day, in our side of the motion, they if those children get bullied in school, they wouldn't be bullied at home. But in their side of the motion, if those children get bullied at school, they would still most likely be bullied at their home surroundings because most of their surroundings are white people. Now, for my second argument, that these children will give back to community, which is crucial because that these children grew up in a community that has the same value as them, suffer the same pain as them, they will surely have a big sense of belonging to their part of community. Now, what will happen is that they will have tendencies to try and give back to their part of community because they know how hard it is to grow up as minorities. Take for an example on how black people in America tend to stick together in a community. When at least one of them is successful in the future, that successful people have tendencies to give back to the black community because they knew how harsh how harsh are the black people being treated by the white community. And with the current ages, for example, the Black Lives Matter movement, those successful black people will most likely hold the same value, which is BLM rather than on All Lives Matters, because they knew that black people are the most community to be suffering at the moment in America. Thus, they will support the BLM movement. This is crucial because this will create a better developing community that where the minorities in the this this will create a better developing communities for the minorities in a predominantly white country, because if your community is developed, many of people of your community will be having a better life rather than the harsher life that you had in your past. You know how bad it is to grow up harshly. You wouldn't want the same thing to happen to others because you have a great sense of belonging and you feel the tendencies to help people who are suffering the same thing as you were. This is exclusive in our side of the motion because if they live in a more variant community, they will still grow up in a harsher community, getting bullied every day, but they wouldn't have the sense of belonging to their own community. Thus, when they are successful, for example, in the future, they wouldn't have the moral obligation to support their community because they would feel that if I can grow up to be successful, then those my people from my community can do it too by themselves. Thus, the community wouldn't be able to develop with their help. And to my third argument, that presence will be greater in government side of the motion because the presence will be collectively. Now, because we live in a community that is homogen and we maintain our values, this will create a better presence towards the white community because we will be able to develop as a part of community, strengthening each other and growing as time also grows. We will create a better traditional values, a better values that can actually merembet to the white community. Now, this is crucial because presence is an important thing for minority to give to, so that white people would know that, oh, there are actually these kind of people living with us. Oh, we are not living alone in the country. So what will happen is that they will try to learn more about the communities, culture, and social beliefs because they know everything that they do will have an impact towards that community, and everything that community does will also have an impact on them. But in the other side of the motion, presence will be less because the minorities are more spread around, thus creating a lower power presences because white people can always shut them up anyway, which is why we are proud to propose. Thank you.